It's Wellness Nerd Out time! How you guys doing tonight? Happy Wellness Nerd Out time, you guys. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about heart rate variability. It's a topic frequently in discussion here as of late. Everybody's getting those whoops and those watches that track it. And we'll talk about why it's important to track your heart rate variability and what it can do for you. But before we do, I want to say happy birthday, Miguel Silva. Happy birthday, brother. I hope you had a great day. I hope you have a lot of fun tonight, man. I'm sorry I couldn't join you tonight. I'm doing this and then a little bit of work. But this one is absolutely for you, my friend. We'll talk about him more at the end. But as for now, let's get into our discussion of the day, and that is on heart rate variability. So what is heart rate variability in the first place? Well, heart rate variability, the name precedes itself in the sense that it is the difference in time, the amount of time between each heartbeat. And this is regulated by your autonomic nervous system. All right. And when we talk about the autonomic nervous system, well, it has two divisions, the parasympathetic division and the sympathetic division. All right. And with the parasympathetic division, it's more rest, digest. You could call it the relaxation response, parasympathetic. You're cool as a cucumber. The sympathetic portion of the autonomic nervous system, it's active when we're undergoing things for fight or flight response, right? Where your life's on the line. I gotta go. Something's got to get done. Your body's under stress. Your heart rate goes up, right? Your blood pressure goes up. Your respiratory rate goes up, all right? And those are, well, at least to name a few, some of the functions that your autonomic nervous system will subconsciously regulate in your body, all right? Along with digestion. So when we have a sympathetic response, again, we have that increased heart rate, that increased respiratory rate, that increased blood pressure because our body thinks we have to address something right now. You gotta go. Can't relax. All right? And it's not good to have this overly stimulated for prolonged periods of time. We only want that sympathetic activity kicked in when we need it. All right? And really, about the only time in the day, with our, first world lifestyle is in the gym. Right? Working out, playing a sport, things like that, where you should have that sympathetic stimulation, and you will have that sympathetic stimulation, as long as you're working hard enough, right? Now, when we talk about the parasympathetic division, relaxation response, rest, digest. So what would happen here? Your respiratory rate would go down, right? Your heart rate will go down, reduced blood pressure. Your body will focus on digestion, right? Things like that. It can take care of, internal functions that it needs to, as it does not have to address any environmental stressors currently at the moment, right? So we like that to be stimulated the vast majority of our day. So the hypothalamus in the brain, we've spoken of many times, and the different nuclei in the hypothalamus, and things and how it relates in, the endocrine response and hormone release, right, and precursors and things like that. When we talk about the hypothalamus in general, it should be said it's constantly processing information and either stimulating or relaxing these bodily functions we're talking about, like respiratory rate, heart rate, think digestion, right, blood pressure, things like that, via the autonomic nervous system, of course. All right. So, what happens if we have an overly stimulated sympathetic autonomic nervous system response, right? Well, then our body, it's again in that fight or flight mode, and so the variability between heartbeats is going to be low, and that means we'll have the same amount of time, or at least very similar, between each heartbeat, because our body is keeping a consistent high heart rate to deal with something, right? Whereas if we have that parasympathetic response, we're very relaxed, we're resting, we're chilling, right? Like we are right now. Then we're going to have a higher heart rate variability, all right? And when we talk about heart rate variability, what is it, right? Heart rate variability, we said, it's the difference in time between heartbeats. It's basically an elongated electrocardiogram. All right. And when we talk about a high heart rate variability, which is what is desirable, right? Well, higher heart rate variability has been associated with increased resilience to stress, right? With better cardiovascular health, things like that. Whereas lower heart rate variability has been associated with things like anxiety and depression and increased risk for cardiovascular disease or even death, So, I mean, increased risk. You're not going to die because you see your heart rate variability went down, But so don't freak out because that'll make it go down even more. But, it shows how important it is to keep yourself as relaxed as possible at all times, really as much as you can, because this action of the autonomic nervous system is subconscious in your body. You're not even thinking about it. It's just doing things. So you have to just, it's reacting according to environmental stressors. All right. And heart rate variability is a good indicator, a good way for us to measure how our body is subconsciously reacting to our environment, to our thoughts, to our feelings, emotions, right? And that's something that, it would be hard to tell otherwise, right? You just think what you think and you know what you know and you don't know what's going on in here. But so how do we measure our heart rate variability, and what is the average? What is good? What is bad? Well, when we talk about the average heart rate variability for someone who is 20 to 25 years of age, it's around 55 to 105, all right, is the average HRV for people from 20 to 25 years old, once again. And for the geriatric population, people in the age range of, say, 60 to 65, the average heart rate variability is 25 to 45, all right? And this is according to, the WHOOP and some Harvard studies and, how they've measured over the last decade or so many different responses in people on average in these age groups and demographics, right? So it's not to say that if you're just outside that range, you're unhealthy, but that's the average, and really the higher, generally the better, right? And heart rate variability naturally declines as we age, right? So it's important, especially as we get older. I didn't even think of this before, really, but it's just funny. Right now, it came to the top of my head. No kidding. It declines as we age, right? Aside from all the internal mechanisms going on, or, functions of things declining over time, right? Like machines fail. Well, we're dealing with a lot more stress as we get older, right? A 20-year-old's running around maybe having some more fun than that, 55-year-old, gotta go to work, you feed the kids again, you gotta do all these things. And when we get all these responsibilities in life, we forget that it's so important to keep ourselves relaxed. You gotta keep yourself as relaxed as you can at all times. So how can we improve our heart rate variability? JMO, how you doing? What we can do is, again, try to relax ourselves. And this shows, we should be doing these things like yoga, laying on your back, throwing a ball up and down, just meditating, right? Whatever. You are just something else tonight, man. All right. Whatever you're going to do, though, the point is, let's keep track of it with heart rate variability. Let's keep track of it, right? And a good way is with the chest monitor. Those are generally the most accurate. The finger and wrist monitors, they say, aren't quite as accurate, but they're, still relatively accurate. And it's hard for them to determine exactly how accurate these things are, but they will give you some indication of, times where your heart rate variability is going down. Oh, I did this today and my HRV was really low. Why? Oh, I must have been really stressed about that test. Well, I'm going to try to change my mindset next time. Maybe do a few more things to relax me, or maybe I did this and my HRV went up, and that's fantastic. And I'm going to try to do that more, to have my parasympathetic portion of my autonomic nervous system kicked in more frequently. So I'm just chilling and my body can do what it needs to do. And I'm not making it think it has to deal with any other sort of stress or anything else, right? So that's our little discussion of the day. Maybe get one of those monitors. I don't have one yet, I got to be honest with you, but this made me want to get one, so I just think I might. It seems like it would be worth it. Cuban Cheeks, how you doing? What's going on? Thank you for hopping on. Dami, what's up, girl? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Mel, how you doing? You finally just laid down. That's great. Your heart rate variability is probably high. You're probably nice and relaxed. Keep it that way, right? So before we go, we got to say happy birthday, Miguel Silva. Happy birthday, Miggy. God, man, this one is so totally 100% for you, brother. When I think of you, I think the first thing that just like right now comes into my head is hanging out at the cathedral, is hanging out at Stony Brook, obviously, but just like after practice, kicking at the cathedral, watching some shows, hanging out, But, man, it was just like when we would go to the restaurant. I remember we went to that restaurant. I think it was in Patchogue, just chilling, having a good time. Anytime I hang out with you, man, coming over your house, hanging out with you and Tommy, anytime I hang out with you, man, it's always a great time. It's always a great time. And you're a great friend. You really are. Anytime I was home from school, I would be in Iowa or something. Miguel would always, or you, if you're watching this, you'd always hit me up. You'd always be like, what are you doing, man? Or, yeah, I'll come through. I'll come hang out, You never would flake out. You're always a man of your word. And again, you're always a great time. And, I'm happy that you're a person that when I look at you, I see no negative dwelling things going on inside you. And I don't know what's going on inside anybody, obviously. But it's a positive sign that you're always smiling, you're always happy, and you're always just loving life, man. So God bless you, brother. And I want you to know, again, 100,000%, this one is for you. So you have a lot of fun tonight, and I'll see you soon, my brother. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't catch you tonight, but I hope you really, really enjoy it. All right? Pro Nation IG, how you doing? Thanks for hopping on. We're heading out of here. You got us at the bell. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your night, you guys. Miggy, have a great rest of your birthday, and we'll see you tomorrow, folks. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Thank you so much. Have a good one.